Hi there, I am Linda Jo Martin, the book lady, and I am here for a review of this amazing book. It is called The Secret Scripture. It is a novel by Sebastian Barry, who is an Irish author. And I am so impressed by this book. I would really love to read everything else he wrote. However, this may be the best. I don't know. It won a lot of awards. You can see up here on the cover of the book, it lists awards that it won. It says, I will read it for you. Shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize, Los Angeles Times Book Prize finalist, winner of the Costa Book of the Year Award, winner of the Irish Novel of the Year. And when was this published? It's not new. Says it says published in 2009. Yeah, that's about when I thought it was published. Sorry it took me so long. Published in 2009, and it won all those prizes, and well deserved, very well deserved. This book is primarily a journal written by a woman who is 99 or 100 years old, living in the northwest section of Ireland near Sligo, I believe is the name of the town. In case I'm not pronouncing it right, I am so sorry. So that's where she was born and raised anyhow, and the mental institution is a little further inland. I looked it up on the map. Well, she's quite elderly now, and suddenly the psychiatrist takes an interest in her. It's really kind of sad that the psychiatrist knew her for 40 years or something. He's been working there, and he never really spent too much time looking into her case. And suddenly what happened is that I guess the county has decided to build a new mental institution, and the old one will be torn down, which is a great idea. It sounds like it's in terrible disrepair anyhow after all these years. And so he has to review the patients to make sure they really are qualified to be in a mental institution, because the new building will have less of a capacity than the older one. So he wants to know more about this woman. Her name is Roseann, and he wants to know why she was originally placed in the mental institution, and she's rather cagey about the whole thing. I mean, she's 100 years old. It's almost all over for her anyhow, and she isn't too interested in telling the psychiatrist her story, but surreptitiously she starts writing a little manuscript and hides it in the floorboards of her room. So we get to read the manuscript as she writes it, and at the same time the psychiatrist is taking notes, so we get to read his notes about her and about his personal life. And so this is an epistolary novel, and I love epistolary novels. I am so glad I got to read this one, and I very much recommend this for anyone. It is one of those books that did not violate any of my 3 important items that make me dislike a book. They are, first of all, things that don't need to be in novels. So the 3 things that don't need to be in novel are superfluous sex, superfluous violence, and superfluous bad language. And this book had none of those things. It was just a wonderful book. Absolutely well done, well written, spellbinding, and it was something that kept my attention and kept drawing me back to it again and again until I got finished with the book. I wish all books were like that. I really do. So I finally got through my Irish book, and I do plan to read another Irish book that I missed reading in March when I first intended to read it. This is Ireland, a novel by Frank Delaney. I've read the first chapter. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Intriguing. And you might wonder what happened to my reading of Gulliver's Travels. Well, when I picked up The Secret Scripture, I got kind of stalled on Gulliver's Travels, which isn't really all that, how can I say it? It's a much more difficult book to read. I realize it's a classic and it's withstood the test of time, but it doesn't have that sticking power that The Secret Scripture had. However, now that I'm done with The Secret Scripture, I'm going back to Gulliver's Travels, which I am reading in my Kindle. This is my Kindle. See, there's a Kindle in there. So I'm going back to Gulliver's Travels and trying to get through the last third of it. And I expect that I will finish the book. Sorry it's taken me so long, ridiculously long time to read that book. I was kind of busy in April, and May hasn't been too much better. However, things are getting better all the time. I'm still intending to do some traveling later on this year. Well, I'm getting off the topic. The topic of this video is the wonderful book that everyone hopefully will be inspired to go read, because it was pretty interesting. There is a lot of death in this book. I've got to tell you, I mean, it starts out with her life in a cemetery, or next to a cemetery, because her father is working there. However, there is not too much death in this book. There is just a lot. You can handle it. I handled it pretty well, and so if I can handle it, I figure you can too. Okay, that's all I've got to say about Secret Scripture. I loved the book, I recommend the book, and I'm so glad I read it. Talk to you in another video.